Keep on rocking in the
Free world! Keep on rocking in the free world!
Well, good evening, ladies and germs. How's it going? I got an email I'm going to respond to right now. This is to my website at www.rv.life, to my contact form, and it came through to my email on my phone. And it says, I just saw a YouTube video you did in 2015, I think, where you had just purchased a used Class C and were in the process of moving in. It was raining and dark, so we didn't get to see the outside of the vehicle. It's raining right now, actually. It's funny you mention that, but you're talking about the first video where I bought this motorhome that I'm in right now. Now, I'm assuming you saw that video way back in 2015. You just saw it, but you haven't looked at any other videos that I put up, because every video since that day has been in this motorhome, and I have shown the inside and outside dozens of times. So maybe just check the video list. But it's funny you mention that, because I might possibly be selling this pretty soon. I usually buy a new motorhome every year, it seems. So anyways, you also say this shows you back in a Class A. So I'm a little confused. Not an uncommon event. No, I never had a Class A for the last decade. I had a Class A way before I did YouTube, and you guys have never seen it on YouTube because I didn't do videos back then. But I'll never do the Class A again. It's just not going to work for the city. So the email goes on. I was wondering what brand and floor model of Class C you had in the moving in video. I thought I mentioned that there. Anyways, it's mentioned many times on lots of other videos, and it's actually in my very last video. If you just want to check the video before this one, you'll see all about it. Because it looks like the size I'm seeking. I'm married without kids and currently without pets, so that size vehicle seemed like the perfect size for tripping around North America, Canada, and USA, and visiting all of the incredible beauty of the natural world. Well, I'd agree with you on that. This is a 21-footer. It's just a few inches above 21 feet. And it is the ideal size for not only on the open highway and traveling, but for the city. You can fit into a metered parking spot. You're not breaking city bylaws. And you can back into single spots in the mall. You don't have to park sideways and take more than one spot. So it has the best of both worlds as far as that goes. I wouldn't get any bigger than this, though. And that's why I don't have a Class A anymore. So, he says, about me, I'm retirement age, have a house and lots of stuff, in quotes, that I've accumulated over 60 plus years, including the stuff inherited from my parents and my wife's parents. I've wanted to go mobile for a while, but work and life in general got in the way. My avocation is photography, and the best time to photograph the outside world is during the golden hour, which is just after sunrise and just before sunset. And the blue hour, which is that time before sunrise and after sunset, when there's enough ambient light to see the world and still capture the lights of cities, saloons, whatever seems interesting. I agree, by the way. I live in South Central Texas, where a typical summer has 20 to 30 100 plus degree days, Fahrenheit, because we Americans didn't go with the rest of the world doing metric. I know, I noticed that. And the winters typically have less than 10 days with below freezing temperatures. I've visited Canada twice and loved it. Canadians are like Americans, except they're more polite and more friendly. For that matter, Canada, at least Western Canada, is like the lower 48 states of the USA, except that it's cleaner. Interesting. If I could learn to deal with the prospect of snow, something that happens in Austin, Texas only once every 4 or 5 years, I would consider moving to Canada and becoming more civilized. Well, thank you for that, but I'm in Western Canada. I'm in Vancouver. Vancouver and Victoria, we probably get less snow than you get down in Austin, Texas. It snows in Vancouver, maybe, we're talking actual snow that sticks on the ground for more than a few days. That only happens once, once or twice a decade. So maybe about the same as Austin, Texas. So you wouldn't feel out of place here, that's for sure. If you want snow, you got to go east. East is always colder in both countries. East is colder. Anywhere near the west coast is going to be warm. Anyways, he says, I'm very interested to see how you finished your Class C. Well, watch the last year of videos, my friend, and you can see everything I've done to my Class C. Interesting that you sent me an email asking to see more of my Class C, but you didn't click to see if I had more videos after that one from 2015. Just saying. No offense, I'm just wondering how that came to be. Anyways, I'm very interested in seeing how you finish your Class C and your thoughts on Class A versus Class C motorhomes. Thanks for a very enjoyable YouTube experience. Regards, Terry. Thank you, Terry. And I've gone over this before when I've talked about my history of motorhomes. I've had 16 or 17 motorhomes now since I started doing this. And that's been everything from Class A, Bs, and Cs. A is the last. I only did one Class A. I'll never do it again. Unless I was not living in a city and I wasn't driving around every day like I do. The only way I could possibly do a Class A again is if it was a 1970s model, when they used to make them 21 feet and smaller. You could even get 18-foot Winnebagos. Just tiny little, they're the size of a van, except wider, and they look like a square box on wheels, basically. But anything over 21 feet, and you're asking for troubles in a lot of the cities. In some cities, they even have 20-foot restrictions on parking on city streets. So I've also learned that more space doesn't make you happier. In fact, the more space human beings have, the more stuff they tend to accumulate, and it doesn't affect your quality of life at all. In fact, I find myself much happier with less stuff. And being a minimalist at heart, that's what this is all about, is minimalism. And I could be quite happy in a very small camper van or something like this motorhome, which has everything in it. Either way, I'm happy. And if I sell this, which I might possibly be doing soon, I did get some amazing offers last night since I put up yesterday's video. We'll see. I don't know what's going to. If I sell this, there's a possibility I'll be downsizing a little bit and getting something a little bit smaller than this. But we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say. So a Class A, I wouldn't recommend you can't even make a U-turn on a side street. I mean, with something like this, yeah, I can do it 1 or 2 point turns, but it's the same wheelbase as a regular cargo van, and it fits into standard parking spots in between 2 meters, just like any other vehicle. It's about the same length as a long pickup truck, and that is the golden length for this type of lifestyle. If you're outside the city and you're not navigating cities, that's a whole different story. But even then, I feel better in a smaller vehicle that I can drive like a car, and it's just so much simpler that way. And honestly, I don't need this much space. This thing is almost overkill. And I've lived in Class Bs much smaller than this, like actual camper vans, with girlfriends and pets. And in this one, it's just my cat. And although I'm seeing a couple of girls, they have their own places. So and that's the way I like it. It has nothing to do with the space. I just don't want to live with anyone right now, and it wouldn't matter to me whether I lived in a van or I lived in a mansion. I still don't want to live with another person at this point in my life. So it can be done though, no problem. But if you're single without kids and without pets, even better. You're just going to have the mansion all to yourself. So, thanks for writing in, and to everyone else watching this, if you have any interesting questions like that, stuff that I haven't gone over 5 million times, I guess I can't expect you to have watched all my videos. I like to read your emails, and I get them all the time, and when I get time during breaks at work and things like that, sometimes I go and check out what you guys have been saying to me, messaging to me. So, just go to www.rv.life, click the contact tab on the top of the page there, and you can send me a direct message. And you can keep in contact with me there. You can also check me out, of course, at facebook.com/rv.life, as well as Twitter and Instagram under the exact same handle. All right? Keep on rocking in the free world, everyone.